Hey, good morning, you guys. So I throw a fire on today and maybe sit with you here. It's a beautiful day, a little wintry in Calgary, a little wintry. Um, so um, I guess what I wanted to speak about just a little bit is why that some of us can hear the message and some of us can't. And one of our guys from Fresh Start passed this week, and the guy that we all really liked. He just, like a lot of alcoholics, very personable, smart. And he's gone. A young man, he's gone, and. And that happens when the 40 years now that I've been in recovery, I can't even count. I can't even count the men and women that I've known who got the message, but just couldn't hear it or couldn't bring it into their beings. Who just couldn't get past ego and died. Hundreds of them in 40 years, hundreds. Who died. What we would normally think is prematurely. In the big picture, we all have our path, and it seems that there's nothing missing. It's all perfect. So, who am I to say what's right or wrong? And yet, when somebody dies, an alcoholic or an addict's death, I feel it. I do. I feel it. It's like, because the answer is so obvious, and yet, and as I say that, I have to tell you that I didn't always get it. I didn't have to go back out drinking or using, but I didn't always get it. I had a lot of my years in recovery were not, they weren't happy, joyous, and free. I wasn't living in the bliss, and I had it, and kind of I would surrender and really feel this amazing connection with now, with universal intelligence, with God, and be in service. And then, I would get pulled away by things that I thought I was supposed to be doing. We say ego edging God out, and as those happened to me over the years, there were times when self-will run riot. I made a mess of things, even in recovery. So, but by the grace of God, I didn't have to go back out drinking. Hi, Tracy. Nice to see you, love. Thank you. I didn't have to go back out, and so my heart goes out, to the families. It's difficult. Death is something that we have a hard time with, and it's difficult. And if you've ever been married to or loved an alcoholic or had a son, who or a daughter who has passed, and you know what I mean, or a parent, and it is difficult. We feel so powerless, and honey, which we are powerless, and that's the key. That's the realizing, and ego is so cunning, so, it's unbelievably cunning, how it tells us that, we can, eventually we'll be able to take our will back. Ego's like waiting. It's like doing push-ups in the parking lot, and to move back in. So really important that we get step one, that we recognize not only are we powerless over lives are truly unmanageable. It's so important that we get that. And what does that mean, unmanageable? Well, because most of us are living from a basis of judging from our ego, we're judging everything. We don't realize that we're still managing our lives from right and wrong, from good and bad, and so our judgment is on ourselves. We've been conditioned to think we're not enough. We've been conditioned to think that we're not smart enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not whatever, right? And their judgments on others. They don't like me, or they're not very nice people, or so we live in that world of judgment, which is a fear-based world. It's a fear-based world, and so the only where we want to live is free of fear. And so we have to recognize it and see that my gosh, I've been in fear. And fear, as a young man, how I dealt with fear when I discovered drugs and alcohol was that fear seemed to melt away when I drank or used, and even though I came into recovery very young, I was 25, and started my spiritual search quite young in my early 20s. I still was held on to the persistent idea that I could be free of fear if I had the right relationship, or if I had, a purpose. I just needed purpose. I power my way through fear, and it doesn't work. It didn't work, and I know tens of thousands that it didn't work for, but I really hung on to. If I had enough money, which is actually, all of these have been gifts, because now when I work with young fellas, and I see it, and I can, have fun pointing it out, that, if I just go to the gym, and I get myself in good shape, I'll be fine. And it's such bullshit, eh? It's all ego, and the only way to live free of fear, free of judgment, is this relationship, not a belief in, but this relationship with a higher power, with now, with God, with universal intelligence, with the one that cannot be described. And lately, this year, I've been listening to a lot of Mooji. Mooji's a spiritual teacher. He so eloquently points to this relationship and how to be in this relationship. And I've really enjoyed, on top of everything else, when I'm working with people in recovery, I never recommend anything as a replacement for this path, because the beautiful thing that the 12 steps has is that we get to give it away. It basically says that we're, just a second, I'm going to read a paragraph to you. I just had a fellow here, one of my sponsees, and we were doing some reading out of the book, and this piece is beautiful because it talks about our relationship with God. So, when we get to a place where we're surrendered, where we say, like, okay, I got it, I have to, that desperation when we throw in the towel, and one of the in the 12 steps they have lots of concepts of God, and lots of ideas, or like a metaphors for God. Hi, honey. Hi, Jennifer. So on page 63, it says, when we sincerely took such a position, that was a positioning of saying, okay, I give up, I surrender. I'm tired of fighting fear. I'm tired of fighting, for whatever it is I think I need, people to appreciate me, or people to respect me, or people to, all of those things that ego wants us to get. And we finally give up and say, okay, I can't, none of that, purpose, none of it stays. It's all moving. And so there's no ground there, and we can't build our house on that that ground. And so when we sincerely took such a position, that's the position of turning our will and our lives over to this higher power, all sorts of remarkable things followed. And they have a concept for universal intelligence or for God in this moment, and they call him the employer. We had a new employer. I love this concept. We had a new employer. For me, it's just simple, it's an idea of God or universal intelligence or Father of Light or now as a new employer. Yeah. And oh, hi there. Hey, Gus. So we had a new employer. Being all-powerful, this is this universal intelligence, being all-powerful, he provided what we needed. Now, what if that was true? Being all-powerful, he provided what we needed. Now, what if that's true? It is true. It is true. Because nothing else I could do provided what I needed. What I needed was to be free from fear, to live free. I didn't need a new car. I didn't need a new relationship. I didn't need, to anything. I just needed to be free from fear. And then I'm there. I'm present, So he provided what we needed if we kept close to him and performed his work well. And this is the beautiful thing about the 12 steps, is his work well is helping others. Staying close to him is prayer and meditation, listening to spiritual teachers, the masters. They're so available to us now on YouTube. Some amazing people who I'll recommend that we can listen to. So we stay close to him, performed his work well. Established on such a footing. So this is just in the step 3 this is the promises, the 3rd step promises. They're beautiful. Established on such a footing. That's this relationship, with our higher power, staying close to him, performing his work well. Established on such a footing, became less and less interested in ourselves. So we, like Ram Dass said, we become nobody. We start to realize that all of who we thought we were was just an idea of who we are. And so we become less and less interested in that ourselves, our little plans and designs. More and more become interested in seeing what we could contribute to life. And here's the promises: as we felt new power flow in, as we enjoyed peace of mind, as we discovered we could face life successfully. Isn't this beautiful? We became conscious of his presence. We began to lose our fear of today, tomorrow, the hereafter. We were reborn. It's a beautiful paragraph just before the 3rd step prayer in page 63 in the big book. Get one, because it's so simple, and it leaves us, to develop our own concept of a higher power. So we don't have to believe in a higher power. We build a relationship with that. It's like, guys don't believe that I exist. You can see it. Many of you have a relationship with me, so that's a relationship. And so the same thing happens with this power of now, with this higher power. We know it. We're like, oh, because we get it. We began to. As we felt new power flow in, as we enjoyed peace of mind, as we discovered we could face life successfully, we became conscious of his presence. So that's the relationship. We began to lose our fear of today, tomorrow, the hereafter. We were reborn. Beautiful, eh? And hey, buddy, shall we do the 3rd step together? Let's. Okay, so that was the paragraph. The 3rd step is turning our will and our life over to that power. And it's a beautiful prayer. It's like a little contract. So I'm going to do it, because one of my friends just showed up, and I just thought I'll share it with him. So we're now at step 3. Many of us said to our Maker, as we understood him. And those words are in italics, they're as we understood him. So there's no, if you have a faith, this doesn't exclude your faith. You can be in living the 12 steps and still be a Christian or still be a Christian or be a Muslim or be a Hindu. This doesn't take away from that. This is the beauty of it. So many of us said to our Maker as we understood him, God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me and do with me as thou wilt. So we're doing it. God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me the bondage of self, which is where the nutshell of our problem, of selfishness and self-centeredness. So relieve me the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. That's the deal. That's the deal. Take away myself so that I may go to work for you, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help. Of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life, may I do thy will always. It's a beautiful prayer. Didn't think I was going to do this today. It's just gorgeous. So this is in the third step prayer. It's very clean. It's just like, yes, I surrender. I surrender. Yeah, and from there, we begin to get intuitive thought. We begin to get direction. Yes, honestly. And we begin to work with others. And I just had a young sponsee here this morning, and we talked about working with others. And he said, well, how do I find them? I said, well, just pray about it. Say, God, if you want me to help others, send me somebody, and they'll come. They'll always come. You know that young fellow, Jason, you were there for him. Remember? You were there for him. And we're here for you. So that was the unexpected reading. Now I'm going to read from the 24-hour day book for today. What day is it? It is the 13th. The 13th of December, somebody's birthday. So we're going to read from this little 24-hour day book. December 13th, thought for the day. This is written in 1948. The big book that I just read from, the big book was written in 1937, 38, published in 39, and this was written just about 10 years later, and it was for the fellowship at the time. It was a very young fellowship. There wasn't that many people in it really. It was just getting going, but a new solution had come on the plane, for the disease of alcoholism, and even still, we've only scratched the scratch. There's so many people are dying from addiction and alcoholism, and this solution has helped millions, but still just barely, but it's gone off into so many, Al-Anon, and so it's helped so many people. It is contagious. Sobriety is contagious. That just, it really is, and it's cool. I got a note today. My son sent me a little video that Russell Brand is 18 years sober today. I think he said 18 or 19, but and that's kind of cool, it is cool to be sober today. And Robert Downey Jr., I'm not breaking anonymity, they've already done this. There's just so many guys that are. It is cool to be sober, right? So here we are. Happy, joyous, and free. Happy, joyous, and free. That's the invitation in the 12 steps. How would you like to be rocketed into the fourth dimension and live happy, joyous, and free? That's the possibility. So here we go. December 13th, thought for the day. We come now to AA fellowship. It is partly group therapy, he says, and it is partly spiritual fellowship. But it is even more. It is based on a common illness, a common failure, a common problem. It goes deep into our personal lives and our personal needs. It requires a full opening up to each other of our innermost thoughts and most secret situations, and he calls them problems. All barriers between us are swept away. They have to be. So in the 12-step recovery program, we don't keep secrets. We sit with somebody and tell it all. All barriers between us are swept away. They have to be. Then we help each other get well. So it's the love between us that is the God coming in. It's the love between us. In AA, we can be sure of sympathy, understanding, and real help. These things make the AA fellowship the best that we know. Do I fully appreciate the depth of the fellowship? Beautiful. Okay, meditation for the day. The higher power can guide us to the right decisions if we pray about them. So that's the deal. You know, we build this conscious connection, and we begin to have intuitive thoughts. We begin to feel the connection. We can believe that many details of our lives are planned by God and planned with a wealth of forgiving love, planned with a wealth of forgiving love for the mistakes we have made. We can pray today to be shown the right way. We can choose the good, and when we choose it, we can feel that the whole power of the universe is behind us. We can achieve a real harmony with God's purpose for our lives. So the purpose, you know, that we get in the 12-step world is to help other alcoholics. You know, that is the purpose. You know, our primary purpose is to give this away, and that's our life. We get spared from a, unbelievable, desperate situation, and to a new purpose. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may choose a right. I pray that I may choose a right today. I pray that I may be shown the right way to live today. So it's beautiful, isn't it? It is. I think I'm going to give this old fireplace a stir before we meditate, okay? We're going to do a little short meditation. Love you to join us. And I'm down kind of low on my meditation stool. I've had these for a long time, and they're pretty cool. Okay. So let's, you want to join me for a short meditation? I think that, we've been doing the meditation as part of our talk and daily reading for about a month or a month and a half, and I've really enjoyed this. And so I'm going to talk a little bit to kind of bring you into a space. And many people say to me often, gee, I don't know how to meditate. David, my mind is too busy. And so just sit, and it's like anything. If we practice it, we start to drop into it. Whether it's think of the things you've done in your life that when you started you were uncertain about, and became really good at, riding a bicycle, skiing. Meditation is like that. We begin a little uncertain, and then we drop into it, and it becomes, like second nature. Just becomes integrated into our lives. So let's do this together for a few minutes. Happy Sunday, you guys. So just close your eyes and use the breath. Use the breath. The breath brings us into the moment. The breath brings us into the body. Wherever you're sitting, hopefully your back is supported. I'm on a little meditation stool, and so my legs are down, and my back is just pivoted beautifully. So I'm very comfortable. So no matter what's going on around you, just close your eyes. Come into the breath, drop down inside. Let go of all thought. Let go of all concepts, all beliefs, all fears. And the idea of who you are, what you do, is not who you are really. It's just what you've done or experiences you've had. Just let them go. Who we are is who we're going to see in the meditation as we drop down into that immortal you, the one that was here before the body was born, and the one that will be here after the body is gone. That's who we connect with, and this power greater than ourselves, this divinity that's within us. Bill said that deep down inside of every man, woman, and child is this fundamental idea, a fundamental relationship. So that's what's happening with meditation. We're dropping down inside. And eventually, it's not down anymore, it's expanded, it's everywhere. We are one with this beingness, this isness. We're one with that. We're no longer the situations in our life. Those are just trivial. They always pass. This too shall pass. Any seeming mistake is never a mistake. Remember, when thoughts come, to just use the breath to come into the moment. Sometimes for me, if the mind is really busy, I just drop into a thank you. Not for anything in particular, but sometimes I just drop into thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. A million thank yous. Finish up myself, but guys can stay meditating for as long as you like. Just drop in and stay there. And you're welcome to always come back to this if you just need a little guidance to drop in. Yeah. You can either find me here or on YouTube. Love you guys.